My people, wake up. RASHAD Jamal, Young Pharaoh, Nature Boy, any of these spiritual guys, they are all agents. In this video, I'm going to break down their aim and how they became agents. Let's play a game. Name one of these Kundalini guys you follow. Have he been receiving this divine insight from the ancestors before he got locked up? No, these fools probably sold their life rights, aka they soul.
Album sales, but I will bow out from petty shit I won't entertain. Thundered his name, sold my soul for commissary change. His name, sold my soul for commissary change.
If you don't know what a LRA is, Google it and you'll see how these guys became these characters. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Thou shalt not be priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. That's Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. Now what knowledge? English? Math? Social studies? Man-made knowledge? No, the Bible. That's why these clowns can jump on a video and you don't know them from a can of paint, and you let them do the same thing they did to your enslaved ancestors. Well, the slaves, they were banned from reading, so they had to believe whatever the enemy said the Bible said. Y'all just don't want to read, so y'all believe whatever the enemy says the Bible says. Let's play a game. Why didn't they want the slaves to read? You know, you don't want them learning Shakespeare. They might foul art their way to the top. Even though if you read 1,000,000 books in that time and you was the smartest black man on the planet, they would kill you for knowing stuff. Now, what book? A book how to start a 500 fortune company? At the time America was building, the bread was in labor and trades, you know, the work the slaves already knew how to do. So let's see the power of reading and what this guy was reading and what they did after they found out he know how to read and what he read. Let's go. Nat Turner.
August 1831, Southampton County, Virginia. The fears of the slaveholding South were realized. Rebellion. Over 70 slaves armed with knives, hatchets, and bludgeoning objects swept the pastoral countryside, killing all in their path. Their leader was a slave named Nat Turner. Born in the year 1800, Nat's mother had been kidnapped and brought from Africa. His father, a slave who later escaped. He would preach to fellow slaves and even some whites, earning him the nickname Prophet, and even claimed to receive visions. When he was 22, he escaped and fled, only to return to the plantation voluntarily. When asked why, he claimed, "The Spirit appeared to me and said I had my wishes directed to things of this world and not to the kingdom of heaven, and that I should return to the service of my earthly master." But Nat was not back to subserviently serve in bondage. He knew his purpose was to avenge those that suffered under the chains of slavery. At age 27, while working in his master's field, an intense vision befell him. The serpent is loosened. Christ laid down the yoke for the sins of man, and you shall take it up to fight against the serpent. The time is near when the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Nat began to prepare. At first confiding only in those closest to him. Then, in 1831, a solar eclipse appeared in the sky like a black fist blotting out the sun. They planned the uprising for July 4th, Independence Day. But illness befell Nat, and the insurrection was called off. That was until August of the same year, when another solar eclipse occurred and the air turned a ghastly grayish blue. This was the sign Nat was waiting for. The rebellion began a week later. It started the night of August 21st. The small band of slaves killed Nat's owner, Joseph Travis, his wife and son, as well as a hired worker, in their beds while they slept. After the group left, Nat felt that this violence was necessary to finally bring about the change needed to awaken abolitionists' allies and shake the foundation of slavery to pieces. To Nat, this wasn't about anger, it was holy retribution. Over the next 2 days, the rebellion brought Old Testament carnage to the Southampton countryside, killing more than 60 whites in their path. Hundreds of federal troops and thousands of white militiamen intercepted the rebellion on its way to the center of the county's government, a town named Jerusalem. Nat managed to escape, hiding himself in the woods for over 2 months until he was found. Once captured, he was quickly tried, convicted, and hanged. His body was desecrated, flayed, and decapitated, with his headless remains buried in an unmarked grave. 30 other slaves and 1 free black man would also be convicted, 19 of them being hanged and the others sold to places far away. But this punishment paled in comparison to those African Americans that were murdered by paranoid, vengeful whites. Upwards of 200 blacks were killed by mobs during and following the rebellion. In the aftermath, some whites, including Thomas Jefferson Randolph, grandson to the 3rd president, called for gradual emancipation to remove slavery. Instead, what followed in Virginia were even harsher codes for blacks. No jury trials for African Americans. Free blacks found guilty of crimes could be sold into slavery. And it was now illegal to teach any black to read. Many other southern states followed
I meet
suit.
Wendy at Person's Methodist Church. The forebears of her stepfather, Morris Person, started the church in 1838, 7 years after the family is nearly decimated in Nat Turner's slave rebellion. I can't think of a more appropriate place to learn about an old Bible that survives from that bloody day.
What did the Bible look like? Tattered. It's missing the cover, very small. It was obviously something that you could carry on you.
See, they didn't want you reading the Bible because you would know who the book is about. You would know the truth and the power you have in God. You would see that these agents are doing the same thing, manipulating the word just like they did during slavery. Use Bible verses out of context to make you think God is for slavery. Jesus is white. Listen, nowhere in the Bible it describes Jesus as a white man with blue eyes, blonde hair. If anything, it says his feet is the color of bronze. Even a white man would tell you Jesus ain't white. His name is actually Yeshua. They translated his name to Jesus. But let's take a look as to who's behind this picture. Now, this is about to get deep. I'm about to show you all the moves these Kundalinis front because they say they're woke. They read the Bible. Or are they just agents behind this Jesus is white movement? Let's get it. The head of Christ, also called the salmon head. The salmon head, right? See, we ain't even got into a full sentence, and let me break this down. Now, if you never heard of this, and I told you, let me show you a picture of the salmon head, what would you think I was going to show you? A fish head, right? Let's see who has a fish head in the Bible. Oh, Dagon. Now, Dagon was the false god to the Philistines. The Philistines were some people that we fought against, our ancestors, and we lost the Ark of the Covenant, which is like a flag. It was more than that, but to put it plainly, Here's what happened when they took our Ark of the Covenant, just to show you how Dagon, aka Salmon Head, is our enemy. 1 Samuel 5, the Ark in Ashdod and Ekron. After the Philistines have captured the Ark of God, they took it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then they carried the ark into Dagon's temple and set it beside Dagon. When the people of Ashdod rose early the next day, there was Dagon fallen on his face before the ark of the Lord. They took Dagon and put him back in his place, but the following morning when they rose, there was Dagon fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. His head and hands were broken off and were lying on the threshold. Only his body remained. This is why to this day neither the priests of Dagon nor any others who entered Dagon's temple at Ashdod step on the threshold. The Lord's hand was heavy on the people of Ashdod and its vicinity. He brought devastation on them and afflicted them with tumors. When the people of Ashdod saw what was happening, they said, "The ark of God of Israel must not stay here with us, because his hand is heavy on us and on Dagon our God." Now let's get back to it. We're going to break down these agents in a minute. Let's finish breaking down Salmon Head, aka the head of Christ. Look at Dagon. The head of Christ, Salmon Head, is a 1940 portrait painting of Jesus of Nazareth. 1940. 1940, huh? During the birth of the people waking up, right? AKA the civil rights movement. Are y'all woke? Do y'all understand what was going on right here? Maybe y'all can see how they're using this aim for this white Jesus. These agents I'm talking about. Now, are y'all woke? Do y'all understand or overstand? What are y'all saying nowadays? Understand? Okay. Now, the people were waking up and coming together. They had to throw something out though, right? The people were getting educated, learning how to read the Bible. No other book mattered because you didn't matter at the time. No matter how much you knew. You weren't getting a job. But what did matter is if you understood your history in the Bible. Look, I ain't even gotten to 2 sentences and I'm breaking this down easily. The reason why, because our ancestors slaves, they were banned from reading. Y'all just don't want to read. So check this out. The head of Christ, also called the Salmon Head, is the 1940 portrait painting of Jesus of Nazareth by American artist Warner Salmon. An extraordinarily successful work of art, I bet. Christian popular devotional art. It have been reproduced over 500 million times. 500 million. That's that machine at work. I wonder what's the agenda. Worldwide by the end of the 20th century, and large copies of the work has been made for churches and small pocket or wallet-sized prayer cards bearing the image that have been mass-produced for private devotional use. The painting is said to have become the basis for a visualization of Jesus for hundreds of millions of people. See, now, when I mention Sammy Sosa, you imagine Sammy Sosa. So when you mention Jesus, this is what you imagine. This is what their goal was. So when you pray, the mind is a powerful place. So when you pray, this is who you're praying to. Now, let's look at the origins of this. The origins of the head of Christ originated as a charcoal sketch entitled The Son of Man in 1924. They've been working on this for years. And sold to the cover of the Covenant Companion, nominational magazine for the Evangelical Church, Covenant Church. Salmon completed several variations of the painting over the years, this devil, and the first oil version dates from 1935 to the 15th anniversary celebration of the Evangelical Covenant Church in 1940. He was asked to reproduce that painting by the students of North Park Theological Seminary. This reproduction was seen by representatives of the Gospel Trumpet Company, the publishing arm of the Church of God, who created the new company called Kriebel and Bates. Hold on, it's getting good. The market Salmon's work for the next 30 years. Kriebel and Bates marketed over 100 Warner Salmon's work. When Kriebel and Bates dissolved, the copyrights to this work were acquired by Warner Press. What's up, Doc? Wait, hold on. This thing got features. Let's look at the appearances. The Chancel of El Buen Samaritano United Methodist Church features a large copy of Salmon's head of Christ rather than the traditional altar Christ. St. Francis de Sales Seminary, a Roman Catholic institution in Oklahoma City, requested and received the gigantic head of Christ to display on campus. According to David Morgan, the head of Christ is still found in both Protestant and Catholic churches. Enjoys fond use among Mormons, Latinos, Native Americans, and African Americans. Hangs in Christian homes in Africa. Wow, got that reach. Latin American, Asian, and Eastern Europe. The head of Christ has appeared in scenes of several films such as Children of the Corn, 84, Jungle Fever, 91, and Silver Linings Playbook in 2012. In 2012, huh? They didn't have a need to push Dagan after that, cause times change. A white man couldn't just come up and tell you this, like, oh, Jesus is white. You believe the opposite. That's where these Kundalinis come in. Let's get them. Their handlers' aim is one world government, one world religion. Like Steve Harvey is doing with this merging of Christianity and Islam, that crap. Chrislam. That's why they say
religion itself was to divide us, y'all. You don't need it, we don't need it.
But try to induct you to follow their false divine entities. But those are not ancestors, those are demonic entities. Check this out. Deuteronomy 18:10-12. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughters in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord, because the same detestable practices the Lord your God will drive out those nations for you. See, every agenda has a plan behind it. The plan is to get you to turn from God. They lose your lack of understanding. Again, my people will perish for the lack of knowledge. Read the Bible, it's alive. It describes these Kundalinis. Listen, they are the man of lawlessness. You get it? They always seem to get this divine insight after they did time in the joint. You know, after they became agents.
Pain, thundered his name, sold my soul for commissary change.
Oh, you rap, huh? You not signed? Come sign this life rights agreement. We'll give you an audience, money. We just need you to do this. 2 Thessalonians 2. Let's read who RASHAD JAMAL and these guys are. 2 Thessalonians 2. The man of lawlessness, concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering to him, we ask you, brothers and sisters, not to become easily unsettled or alarmed by the teaching allegedly from us, whether by prophecy or by word of mouth or by letter, asserting that the day of the Lord has already come. Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for the day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed. The man doomed to destruction, he will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped. Sounds familiar. Even the fake gods, they're saying. So that he set himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. Don't you remember that when I was with you, I used to tell you these things, and now you know what is holding him back, so that he may be revealed at the proper time. For the secret power of the lawlessness is already at work. But the one who holds it back will continue to do so till he is taken out of the way. And the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will overthrow with his breath of his mouth and destroy by the splendor of his coming. The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. Wow, right? He will use all sorts of display of power through signs and wonders that serve the lie. Which lie? What signs and wonders that serve the lie that Satan used back in the... Let's keep going. All the wicked ways, all the ways that wickedness deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and to be saved, for the reason God sends them powerful delusion, so that they will believe a lie, and so that they will be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness.
Young Pharaoh, I thought the black woman was God, not a being.
Stop. Who's battling anything? So what are you talking about? Stop telling this little white girl my business. Because the police are coming. That's why. Okay, no, because I called them. So what are you talking about? And I bet you didn't call and tell them how you fucking just dragged me, how you just kicked me in my head, how you just slapped me, how you just punched me, and everything the fuck else.
Oh, he beating up God.
I bet you didn't call him that. I bet you didn't tell him that you put your hands on the baby, that you hit the fucking baby.
Wait, that's a little baby girl. That's like a little baby God.
I bet you didn't tell him that. Brittany, didn't he hit the fucking baby? Didn't he hit the baby trying to hit me? Okay. So what are you talking about? So young Pharaoh over here with the white nanny, y'all.
Corvette.
He fucking just literally fucking punched me, fucking kicked me since he wants to tell a half-ass story. Listen. I came to Pharaoh to pick up my kids. I literally dropped my kids off to him for an hour so I can start my massage clinicals. And I came to pick up my kids because he's blowing up my damn phone because the baby's crying and he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't spend time with his fucking kids. And I came to get my kids and he's trying to tell me get out the house when I'm trying to get my stuff for class. And then fucking literally while I have the baby in my hand, yanking me by my fucking hair, fucking hitting me, punching me. His video graphic is right here. He's fucking just doing the fucking most because I'm literally trying to get my stuff and talking about unless you say sorry, you're not getting your stuff. I don't need to say sorry because I didn't do shit. And that's what's crazy because he really in his mind think that people need to bow down and fucking worship him or something, or like he's fucking God or something, or like he's fucking God or something.
Hold up. She's supposed to have a full understanding, being that she his baby mama, that she is God. She lived with him. Now he got y'all believing this stuff, and the people that know him personally don't even believe in this stuff. Like he's God or something. She believes in God, y'all. Come on, man. Corvette.
He fucking broke my phone. Literally, my phone's right here. Where's my fucking phone? Trying to say, oh, you're being racist to the white nanny because like he give a fuck, like he didn't start his whole career off being fucking racist and calling people cracker and stuff. He got mad because I called the nanny a cracker or whatever the case may be, because he's over here trying to tell me, oh, I called Chelsea over here to help me with the kids after I told him 50 times to not allow this female around my fucking kids, and he fucking dragged me by my damn hair, punched me and kicked me dead in the face.
Now I'm gonna show y'all.
Punched me dead in the jaw, literally almost fucking knocked me out. And the witch calls right here, the police is right here. And talking about, oh, I have everything on video. Like he didn't fucking record him literally fucking beating my ass. That's what's crazy.
Is the black women heal themselves, and the black women truly come together and talk to each other so that they stop sabotaging, destroying, and tearing families apart because they got a fucking attitude while blaming the men for their evil. Because this is what this is. This is fucking pure evil, and that's what it is. And I'm gonna call it like the fucking. This is why black men don't want to deal with black women. This is why. This is why niggas get on and then.
Wait, what is nigga crystals at? Like he supposed to have his crystals on. I guess he's young Pharaoh and he's a god when he's in front of y'all. Y'all wearing these damn crystals. He ain't even got his on. That's probably why this happening to him. Corvette.
This is why niggas get on and then go get a white woman or go get a Spanish woman, because y'all motherfuckers are combative and destructive. I can't deal with y'all directly because y'all motherfuckers like drama. I don't like drama. I don't like drama. This is why black men can't do nothing. Because when we legitimately trying to build, females get in their feelings and they start trying to kick the legs from up under the fucking table. We supposed to be in this coop together. We supposed to been doing this together. This is supposed to be the Aten family. We supposed to be stunting together. I never meant to be riding by my fucking self. I'm not from Texas, motherfucker. I'm out here by myself. We supposed to been out here together. But you dropped the ball. Y'all motherfucking females is lazy and don't want to get off y'all ass and don't want to do shit. And then you want to sit here and throw dirt on my fucking name. Get the fuck out of here. I'm emotionally stable. Very emotionally stable. This right here is probably one of the hardest fucking videos I'm gonna ever have to make. Hopefully it's the last. Both the mothers of my children are refusing to take accountability for their actions. Stop trying to gang me. Stop trying to bully me. Stop getting smart. Stop being disrespectful. Stop being childish. And just treat me like a fucking a decent human being. Of decent human being. Of decent human being.
Of decent human being. Of decent human being. Of decent human being.
And stop being so aggressive and masculine all the time. Stop being so aggressive and masculine all the time.
And there you have it, just like Nature Boy. Once you play with that YouTube bread, all that black goddess moon rock stuff goes out the window. And apparently he's not a god anymore. He's a decent human being. What's next? RASHAD Jamal got to beat his baby mama up too? So you can keep following these agents if you want to. You don't want to get caught up in that strong delusion that God was sent upon you by following them. And when this all ends, you can act like you don't know what happened. If you've seen this video, you've been warned at this point. You get the full understanding and you move forward with this moon rock crap, you will face your destruction. The man of lawlessness has been revealed. Wake up, my people. You are the chosen people of God, the children of Israel the Bible speaks of. This is why they tried their hardest to keep you from reading the Bible. This is why they mass-produced that false image of Christ, that white man, to confuse you with lie. The Holy Word was around before the combination of what is classified as white people today came about. They didn't create it. They just kept you from reading it and then whitewashed it the people of the Bible. The same people who blew off the nose of the Sphinx are the same people who supposedly told you the truth. Them Kemetic books, those guys were idiots just looking for treasures and gave you a combination of mixed info throughout the times of what y'all considered y'all ancestors because they from Africa. Listen, I understand black men with all this misery in America and we're at the bottom. So you want to feel like kings, but that ain't your people. They're just people who lived in Africa. Yeah, kings and pharaohs, but they were the enemy God delivered us from with Moses. The reason we became their slaves is because we wanted to serve them, not God. The same thing these agents are causing you to do today. Wake up. Those pharaohs and stuff, they were just like the hierarchy of today. They are the man, they're the system, they're the machine. In the next video, I'm gonna break down extensively who you are in the Bible and your history of the Bible.
Now, have you ever heard of the African Hebrew Israelites? Well, they are a sect of black Americans who began moving to Israel in the late 1960s, claiming to be descendants of the ancient Israelites, and number about 3,000 people here in Israel, most of whom live in the southern desert town of Dimona. Now, most have received permanent residency under arrangements with the Israeli government, but now at least 46 families have just received deportation orders from the Interior Ministry saying that they have to leave the country within just 60 days. Well, we have Prince Emmanuel Ben Yehuda joining us from Dimona itself. He's the national spokesman for the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. So first of all, tell us more about your community and when this movement to Israel began.
Well, thank you very much, Natasha, for having us on this evening. Well, there's a very rich history of tribes across Africa tracing their descendants to the land of Israel. And it also extends into the Americas, where many of the tribes were taken during the slave trade. In fact, there's a book by Professor James Landing out of the University of Chicago called Black Judaism, The History of an American Movement, which traces the presence of African Americans who trace their descendants to Israel back to the 1500s. So it's quite a very rich history that then in 1966, at a Beta Hebrew Cultural Center in Chicago, which was home of one of the many Israelite communities in the Americas. Ben Ami, the spiritual leader of our community and the founder of our community, had a vision that it was time for descendants of the Israelites among African Americans to return to the Holy Land. And a year later, in 1967, he led 350 members of the community back into Liberia for 2.5 years. And then in 1969, the first members of the community began to come back into Israel.
Right.
And that was our beginning back home.